Hey guys, this is Will from Magic the Friendly Tavern. This is going to be part 3 of our Sharuum deck tech. We are almost done. All we got to do is talk about the mana rocks and the lands. And we're going to get moving right along. We've already talked about everything else. We're 58 cards deep into the deck, so let's finish. First up is Dimir Signet. Dimir Signet is great. Dimir Signet is 2, pay 1 to add 2, blue and a black. So it makes colored. We want colored mana. Colored mana is really important to us. We are very color intensive. Very color intensive deck, so we want as much access to colored mana as possible. So the Signet is great. It's a cornerstone. A lot of other decks have quit running Signets. I still run it. Then we have Lotus Pedal. Lotus Pedal is good as a one-shot. We can 0 and then tap it, target the sacrifice it to add 1 mana of any color. But it costs 0. That's why it can accelerate us into really, really fast broken turns. As a matter of fact, I think it enables one of our God hands. I'm not sure. We'll have to look at that later. Then we have Mox Opal. Mox Opal taps for any color or mana, but it's only active if we control 3 or more artifacts. It includes itself. So we control it and 2 other artifacts, it's on. So that's all we need. 3 artifacts on the field. Mox Opal is good to go. Cost 0. Great mana rock. Next mana rock up is Mana Vault. Mana Vault costs 1, but it produces 3. If it's tapped, it'll deal 1 damage to you. It does not untap during its untap phase. We got to pay 4 to untap it. If we put Power Artifact on this, you can only untap it during your upkeep. That's why it will not work with Power Artifact. So don't put Power Artifact on this. I knew that. I was just... Don't mind me. 3 colorless though, and it ramps us. It's like a one-shot ramp, and we don't really care about the 1 damage a turn because we're going to kill them way before this kills us. And if anything, we can untap it. So this is fine. This is great. One-shot acceleration, kind of like the Lotus Pedal. Next up, we have Chromox, which is reusable, but it imprints. You got to exile a non-artifact, non-land card from our hand, and then we can add 1 mana of any of the exiled card's colors. So we wanted to produce blue and black, but blue is fine. Sometimes black is fine. You know, whatever we can put on it to make it produce colored mana. Sometimes we'll play it out dead and not imprint anything on it, just to have another artifact in play. Maybe to turn on Mox Opal. I've made that play before. It's a great rock. This is a great rock. It is card disadvantage. Keep that in mind. This is card disadvantage, and it sucks if you go to imprint and they bounce this, and that's spell will stay exiled and you will not get it back, and you will have to replay this and try and imprint another spell, and if they blow it up, then you're down 3 for 1. So you got to be careful with Chromox, but it is worth the risk. Then we have the Talisman. Now they just finished the cycle of Talismans, but before they did, I was one of the only few decks that had access to the Talismans because they were in my colors. And this one is Talisman of Progress, and it can produce 1 colorless, or it can produce white or blue, but it deals 1 damage to you. You don't care if it deals damage to you. Producing color is what we need. It's 2 mana. It's a great rock. One of the best. Then we have Arcane Signet. Arcane Signet produces mana equal to your commander's color identity. So this will produce blue, white, or black for us. So it's great. Great rock. No problem there. Blue, white, or black. Great. 2 mana. Here's one of the better rocks. This is 0 mana, adds 2. 0, let me repeat that. 0 mana adds 2. This is a net positive rock. You ramp off of this just playing this. This will make explosive turns. Now, at the beginning of your upkeep, you flip a coin. If you lose a flip, it deals 3 damage to you. Now, when you're flipping coins and stuff like that, you think with a coin flip, it's like 50% probability. So this thing does, on average, 1.5 damage to you a turn. It will kill you. Keep that in mind. One time I've had to turn a Mana Crypt into a creature just to make it die so it would get off the field and not kill me the next turn. I've blown it up. I've disenchanted my own Mana Crypt before just to get out from underneath it. Yeah, sometimes you have to do stuff like that. A really good solid card. Then we have one of the more expensive cards in the deck, the most expensive card in the deck, sitting at $620. Mox Diamond on the reserve list. 0 mana. When it comes into play, choose and discard a land card or sacrifice it. So you got to dip a land. That's important. You got to dip a land. Add 1 mana of any color to your mana pool, though. Comes down 0 turn. Fast, produces all colors. All you got to do is dip a land. It is card disadvantage, but man, you can't get past these 0 mana artifacts. They just ramp you so fast and so hard. That's how I'm putting out 10 mana by turn 4, is because of cards like this. Next is another talisman. This is the Talisman of Dominance, and it produces blue and black and deals 1 damage instead of the white or blue. And that's it. Still costs 2, 1 colorless. It's great. Then we have Soul Ring. Everybody knows Soul Ring. It's 1 mana, add 2. It's a net positive rock. It ramps you. It costs basically nothing to play. So you want that. It's great. No problem. Then we have Jeweled Lotus in this deck, and it can 0, but you can sacrifice it to add 3 mana of 1 color to spend on your commander. And Sharuum costs 6. This Jeweled Lotus right here allows us to get a God Hand. This allows us to knock 3 mana off Sharoom's ability and be able to Sharoom kill on turn 1 with a God Hand. We have to have a perfect 8 cards to pull it off, but we can do it. It's improbable statistics if we ever draw those exact 8 cards, but if it ever does happen, I will let you know. That's it on the mana rocks. That's 70 cards down. Now we got to talk about the 30 lands we have. Oh boy. All right. So here's a basic swamp. There's basic plains. Okay, give me just half a second here. Let me go ahead and go through my thought process and what I'm doing. I'm go ahead and separating these out into types. There's an island. And there's a snow-covered island. There's our 4 basics. That's all the basics we run completely. Here's our artifact land. I'll show you this. This is Seat of Synod. There's a reason Affinity was so broken. Seat of Synod is an artifact land. You can get it with Trinket Mage. That's mainly why we run it in here. That's why we run the risk of getting shut down or blown up, because we can get it with Trinket Mage. It's great. It's fine. It's a good land. Now, if you notice, like I said, okay, there we go. I've got everything lined up the way I want, and we'll go over these cards. First of all, I want you to notice 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, 8. I thought there were 9. Oh, yeah, that's right. I don't think I can run 2 of them. I should be running 9. Am I missing one? Oh, boy, I couldn't tell you. I don't know why the count is 8. I thought it should be 9. I thought the only one I couldn't run is the red-green one. Am I short a fetch land? Oh, well, let's go into it. These fetch lands are, if we don't know what a fetch land is basically pay 1 life, sacrifice it. You can go find a swamp or a forest. Well, we're not running any forests, but we are running swamps. So we can go get our basic land swamp, or we can get this Godless Shrine, because this Godless Shrine counts as a plain or a swamp. Or we can get this Watery Grave, because this Watery Grave counts as an island or a swamp. So you see what I'm saying? We can go get the lands we need with it. So we have 9 of those, and they will all go get our colors. Blue, black. This will get white. Oh, there's the other one. Windswept Heath. There is 9 here. Okay, I'm sorry. I couldn't see it. Arid Mesa gets white. That gets white. That gets black. It's okay to crack these, even if I've already pulled all the lands out of my deck that they could possibly get. Just a shuffle. That's fine. That's what they're really in here for, is to shuffle our deck. 9 shuffle effects to clear our top, to clear our cantrips if they fell up, and to do our scroll rack. So that's what they're really in here for. That's what people love them for, is because they shuffle. And then again, we're looking at our lands that have 2 different types. So we have Godless Shrines, which is a plain swamp. We have Watery Grave, which is an island swamp. These shock too. These will come into play untapped if you pay 2 life. If not, they enter tapped. Keep that in mind. So to fetch and shock land, they cost 3. You go lightning bolt yourself. Just keep that in mind. And we have no OG duels, so you're going to be taking damage. Just keep that in mind. That's what's going to happen. Just straight up. Just keep, and then we also have a Hollowed Fountain, which is also a shock land. Come on now. And it's in Plains Island. So that's all. Pretty good land. Next is Irrigated Formula. Now I'm running 1 copy of this. And the reason is because you don't always need the land to come into play untapped. So it's okay that this one enters the battlefield tapped. It is a Plains Island as well. But it cycles for 2. So we can get rid of it if we top deck it and we don't need another land. We can draw a card with it at least. It never really has affected me coming into play tap. Maybe 1 or 2 games. I'm willing to lose 1 or 2 games over a tap land. Just to run it. It's fine. I think people are sleeping on it a little bit. You don't want to run 4. You don't want to run 5. You just want 1 copy. If you're going to run 1, you're going to run 1 copy. So that's it. Then we're going to talk about these lands up here produce any color. Mainly the color of our, this one produces any color your commander's identity. It's Command Tower. Everybody's got one of these. This is a great card. Everybody should be running this. Great tech. So there's that. Then we have Glimmer Void. Now, Glimmer Void is a little bit tricky. Comes into play untapped. Add 1 mana of any color. At the beginning of your end step, if you control no artifact, sacrifice it. So we at least want 1 artifact out to keep Glimmer Void on the table. But we can't run it out there, and it still makes mana. It comes into play untapped. Still makes mana, even if it's going to get sacked at the end of turn. If that's our last turn, we don't care. Glimmer Void's good, especially in an artifact deck. You can't run it outside of an artifact deck. I wouldn't even try, but it's worth it. This is Mystic Confluence. Pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. So it's it again produces any color. Just pay 1 life. We don't care about our life total. We're really fast. We'll have them long dead before they have us dead, supposedly. Next up is City of Brass. City of Brass will deal 1 damage to you when it becomes tapped. Keep that in mind. But you can tap it to add any 1 mana of any color to your mana pool. Great card. Lastly, we have Spire of Industry. Spire of Industry has 1 colorless, or you can pay 1 life and add 1 mana of any color. Activated only if you control an artifact. So it's kind of like Glimmer Void, that the colored part is turned on. And yes, it deals 1 damage, but it's fine. It produces colored mana. And that's all we need it for. We're color intensive. We want as many lands producing colored mana as we can. So there's that. And then we have Morphic Pool over here. Morphic Pool says it enters the battlefield tapped unless you have 2 or more opponents. So unless, if 2 opponents get eliminated and it's just me and 1 other guy left, it'll come into play tapped. But I always play in a 4-man pod. No more, no less. So usually it'll come into play untapped. I can't fetch it or nothing, but it is a backup land that produces 2 colors. Comes into play untapped. That's what we want. Morphic Pool is great for our deck. And then we have Cephali Coliseum. And this land is special. We use it for a special reason. It adds blue, but it deals 1 damage to us. And that's terrible. It really is. But Threshold, if we have 7 or more cards in our library, or graveyard, which is going to happen quickly, especially with the tutors, cantrips, fetch lands, everything that we run through, probably turn 4, we're going to have 7 cards in our graveyard. So it's turned on. Target player draws 3 cards and discards 3 cards. So we can target ourselves with it to get the 3 cards we need and then discard what we don't need. Or, say an opponent's going to win with a Thassa's Oracle, we can target them and make them draw from an empty library and in response to Thassa's trigger and kill them. If somebody goes to win with an empty library, this card will put pressure on them and make them lose the game. That's why we run. That's the true reason why we run it. This is tech against other combos. This is actually a kill spell. Isn't that cool? In your, using your lands to kill your opponents. And then lastly, we have our 4 our colorless utility lands. Again, we're very mana heavy, so we do not want to run very many colorless lands. So we had to be very careful what we picked. First up, we're going to talk about the excellent Ancient Tomb. Add 2 mana to your mana pool. 2 colorless, but it deals 2 damage to you. But that's fine, because that's ramp. That's 2 mana for 1 permanent, and we didn't even pay for it. This is good. This is broken. This is busted. That's why it's $50. This card is really, really good. And if you have a deck, just run it. Just run it. It's great. Again, we don't worry about dying to it. Then we have Buried Ruin. And Buried Ruin says, pay 1 colorless, or add 1 colorless to your mana pool, or pay 2 and sacrifice it to return an artifact card from our graveyard to our hand. So recursion. Again, getting an artifact out of our graveyard is great. So that's what we want it for. Then we have Academy Ruins over here. And it says, add 1 color to your mana pool, or pay 1 in a blue and put target artifact card from your graveyard on top of your library. Now if you do this at your end of your opponent's turn, before your turn, you'll draw that card. So that's how you get it at semi-instant speed. You're skipping a draw, though. But we need it sometimes to get back key pieces so we can combo again. So that's why we run it. It's great. And our last card is going to be the Venerable Strip Mine. Oh, boy. I don't care. Okay, so it produces 1 colorless mana. So it taps for mana. We can sacrifice it to destroy target land. This is land destruction on a land for free. Like, it's just, you tap it, sacrifice it, and destroy a land. I only use this against really problematic lands like Cabal Coffers or, Gaia's Cradle, stuff like that. Stuff that's really, really hinky that'll kill you. A desert of the desert that deals 1 damage to you in a War Gorger combo. You can target that card with it to stop them from killing the table. That's what it's used for. I hit basic random utility lands with it. I never try and mana screw anybody with it. That's why there's only 1 copy. I used to worm Wasteland and Strip Mine, but still I wouldn't try and use them to over advantage my opponent by mana screwing them. This is not what it's for. It's just to hit lands. And that's what it does. So, again, that's going to be my entire deck tech on Sharuum, the Commander deck, my Tier 2 deck. I'm Will from Magic to Friendly Tavern on Facebook. Thank you for coming along for this deck tech. Happy pack pulls, and as always, happy games.